sitting at my keyboard in my apartment, and I was just playing with some chords. Like, I actually had gotten a little cadence to it. And so I really just recapped in my mind, like, how that breakup happened, like, what happened. And once I realized, like, some of the words were kind of, like, matching up and rhymed a little bit, I was like, okay, this is a song. It's going to be a hit. And I just got to my piano one day, and I actually was kind of crying while I was writing it. And I had told my homegirl, I was like, girl, I wrote the song. And like, I was like really crying. She said, I think that's going to be the name of the song, Tears on My Keyboard.
That's how the best music come about.
That's beautiful. See, like, you see how organic that was?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And like, when I went to the sound engineer and AOA, shout out to him, and we were working on the beat, putting my chords to the beat, I actually got emotional because I was like, oh my God, like, this is going to help me get over this bridge of what has kind of been holding me back. So now that I finished this song, it's crazy. This is my first time kind of being vocal about the fact that I did go through a breakup this year. I didn't really talk about it that much to a lot of people, but now I feel like it's behind me, just like how that song was done. So music was like a release
for you. You was able to put it on paper, write it out, sing it out, and let it out.
So exactly.
That's a beautiful thing.
Exactly. And now I'm working on, other songs with open verses, so I might be calling you. And just so I could have more artists on it and like collaborate, because that's how artists really be coming up, is working with other artists, right? Yeah. And just networking with each other. So, now I'm getting more comfortable with telling my friends and family what I'm doing. But a lot of times I didn't tell them because I was just scared that it wouldn't work out.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I understand.
A lot of artists go through that too, because their perception of their family is like, well, they look at me like this, growing up and seeing me a different side. So it'd be hard for artists to come out their shell when it comes to their family, and they be a little shy. I had the same problem too, because I grew up in the church too. You know what I'm saying? So my grandparents very religious, and the music I make is completely different. You know what I'm saying? So, but I had to just break it down to them, like, this is my life, this is my passion, this is what I want to do, and they embraced it. So
yeah, I think that your gift will always make room for you.
Yeah,
so I think that a lot of us started out in church, because like I said, I started out in church. So God is gonna always be the root of everything I go to do in my life. You know what I'm saying? So as long as that, I think that's really most people. Everybody start off in the church. Right. They don't mean they stay there, but they start off there. That's their base. Yeah. And your gift will always make room for you.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? So I think growing up in church, we used to always feel bad, like if we wanted to, because like my favorite singing group growing up was Mary Mary.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like I literally know every song they've ever made.
Used to been listening to me.
Yeah, I love that.
I've been listening to them for like 20 years. I've listened to Mary Mary since they made the Shackles. Yeah, I think I was like 6 when that song came out.
Can't Give Up Now.
Yes, I know every song they've ever made. So I understand. I think it was like frowned upon, like, oh, that's secular music. That's the devil music. It's no.
People, this could be a whole nother podcast episode, just talking about like, that whole thing. But I don't know. I'm so glad you brought that up, Kai, because I feel like, like Beyonce, for example, people have been calling her, like telling her she sold her soul to the devil for years. And, because of, her music and, none of my business if she did or didn't.
That worship her.
That's what that's also a whole thing too. Maybe that wasn't a good example.
I didn't know that.
I didn't. So I
church. It was a church here in Atlanta.
I did hear about something like that.
It was it's like a mass or something, like they worship Beyonce. I've heard about that for years.
Let me do my research. Okay, so let me omit that example. But
I didn't know. I was like, what? I mean,
well, I know that there are a lot of artists that people are always saying that, they say the same comments about, like, oh my gosh, like, they talk about God on Instagram, but then they rap about strippers and stuff like that in their music. I'm like, y'all, it's just a song. We're just trying to. It's art. Yeah. Like, it's lyrics. Like, it's totally okay.
Yeah. I agree. And I think, like, me and my friends was talking about, like, music influences the culture, period.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, out of nowhere, everybody want to be city girls.
Right.
They want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, the city girls came out of nowhere.
Oh, my
Everybody want to be city girls. They want to be outside. Remember they trying to drive the boat a few years ago?
Literally, flew out. Like, it was a whole...
It influences
we
the
love
culture.
The city girls.
Right.
They messed it up for us dudes. You know what I'm saying? Where the city boys at?
Oh, my God.
The city boys down 1,000.
Oh my gosh. No, but I'm so that's a real thing too, because if y'all ever listen to any of my rap songs, I don't cuss in my rap songs. It's not that I don't cuss in real life. It's just I don't know. I haven't cussed in my rap music. And so when I did a talent showcase in October, so not to toot my own horn, but I have never lost a talent show in my life. And I actually lost this one. And then when I was talking to my friends, I was like, y'all, I didn't play. It's like, well, what's up? They said, well, what did you do? I said, I rapped. And they said, that's not your main talent, sis. And the people, the women who, unfortunately, the women who are rapping and who are at the forefront of rap are twerking. They're doing this whole thing.
Sex
you know,
sells.
exactly. And that's just never been my biggest thing.
That's what we're talking about with talent. Like, somebody could be more talented, but if they don't have the, like, I'm not trying to say that you don't have the look, but everything is about sex. It's about sex selling. That's what it's about. And prime example, we was talking about the City Girls. All of them got boyfriends. Meg Thee Stallion got a man. But y'all telling people, oh, bump that man, leave him, get his money. But y'all,
I did that,
y'all
and I'm
every day.
over here.
So that's what I'm saying, because it's an influential thing.
Yeah,
if that's what you're listening to every day. That's what gets in your spirit. That's what resonates with you. Yeah. So you're gonna be like, oh, I ain't got to. Oh, you wanna? Oh, okay, I got something. I'm about to go over here. No. I'm telling you. So even I love the City Girls. Don't get me wrong. I would listen to them in the gym, work out to them all day. Those are people I listen to when I'm working out. But just letting in my spirit resonate with me, I cannot listen to stuff like that because it's not really good for me.
I'm with you. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Exactly. So, and I think my rap music is cool. But like when I think about like. I will never forget that comment. They were like, if you're not going to take it to that level, and they were like, you don't have to, right? Like, it's totally okay to not do that. But if you're not going to take it there, just know, unfortunately, in where we are at right now, where your path might stop at or might freeze at for a minute. And then I thought about it. I was like, well, Jasmine Sullivan and wearing a bikini on all of her album covers.
Very true.
She's just very talented, and people are listening. She's still getting her Grammys and her airtime. And I'm like,
but it's always good to stand out. Don't ever change yourself.
Exactly.
Like, for your music. Like, it's going to speak for itself.
Right. That's so
look
real.
At it. Like Jhené Aiko, I've been listening to her since 2013. Like, when she had Selling Not Selling came out, like before people really knew who she was.
Yeah.
So when she came out, I was just like, okay, we've been listening to her.
Right.
Like,
and she's real talented. And I've always liked her. And she has such a beautiful voice too. Like, I love a good singer, So
J. Cole, like, we from the same hometown, and J. Cole was like,
come on, Forest Hill.
You know how he really hustled his way in the game.
Yeah.
He talks about real stuff in his music. You're not gonna ever hear him talking about, like, just listen. Like,
My
that's somebody
Life?
that I can listen to all day and not turn him off.
His song My Life with 21 Savage, and I forgot the other guy's name right now, but that song, I was like, oh yeah, he's talking about real stuff.
And we from the same hometown. Like, literally grew up right down the street from me. He used to work at the Roundabout Skating Ring.
You remember that? You remember him working there?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, so it's like we all kind of same area. Like,
oh wow.
So to see him come up, and I think he talked about how I want to say he had submitted some of his information or his CD over to Jay-Z, and they kind of like, and then they ended up discovering him on YouTube a few years later, and they were like, dang, like,
that's so I'm telling you, like, that's a good example of something else. Like, I feel like a lot of artists get told all the time, it's not rejection, it's a redirection. Like, the amount of times that I have heard that, like the amount of times I heard that every time I brought up the talent showcase I did where I lost, and I was like, you know what? It did redirect me, because it got me back into what has always been my talent, is singing and playing the piano, that I've always done and I've never fell short of. Like, you put me at a piano, listen, like, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? And so, and one of my dreams, I would say, is like, being able to write music for people. So please, I'm so serious. If you ever need help with a pen, please call me, because I have a bunch of songs in my vault that I'm ready to, put out there at some point, right? Even songs where I be like where there's cuss words where I said I might not say it, but maybe Megan or JT or Carisha can say it. But like, you get my point, right? Yeah. Like, it's stuff that I enjoy doing, and so even like I said, rejection will sometimes will really redirect you to something bigger and better.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. And I'm going to kind of ask you, Malachi, because you're already in the industry. Yeah. What advice would you give someone that's actually trying to get in the industry right now?
I'm listening.
Because she's trying to get in the industry.
I would say just be yourself. Be present. That's a big thing. That's something I had to work on over the years. Being present. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just showing your face is enough. Yeah. And then if you already got the music, and everything just aligns. Believe in yourself. You can't really worry about, you're going to have a lot of opinions. People going to tell you certain things. You should do this, you should do that. But when you follow your heart, man, that's just the best thing you could do, being in the industry.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? That's how she said she had the piano crying, but that makes the best music, because they come from your heart. They come from, life experiences. So
I agree with that.
Follow your passion.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said I think when Summer Walker, she turned out to be one of my most listened to people this year, but she wrote that album when she was going through hell in
yeah.
her life.
And
with the baby mama, you know, she even, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
She literally put her whole life in an album
and left it on the table, yeah.
But that's the best way to do.
It really is, and that's why I have so much respect for her and her artistry. I think I saw somebody post on TikTok a video of her on tour, and someone was like, "Oh, this is a horrible show." And I'm thinking to myself, y'all, remember what her music is about. Yeah. It might be really tough for her to get up there and perform that in front of a lot of people. Like if Tears on My Keyboard blew up tomorrow, and someone's like, "Kaylin, perform this at Madison Square Garden or at State Farm Arena," I would be terrified because I know what that song means. And you know what I mean? I know that it could eventually get back to him and like, you know, things like that. I have an open mic night on Monday that I'm going to perform at. And I decided that I'm going to perform that song. And I'm performing it in Brooklyn, which is where me and my ex used to hang out all the time. And I was talking to my friend about it. I said, I think this is going to be the nail in the coffin. This me performing it here. I'm going to finally just lay it all out here. It is what it is. So if it goes well, I might be comfortable performing it again. But you know, Summer Walker, I feel like it's just hard for her sometimes to perform some of those songs. Like maybe she could perform Star Spangled Banner and be okay. She really
put her heart in it.
Yeah.
So do you guys feel like it is like maybe not for you, but like just scary putting yourself out there with like music?
Yes, absolutely. Like all the time I think about it. Like one of the reasons why I haven't posted my covers as much on Instagram, even though I get more views on my Instagram, which is what's so crazy. Is because I'm like, oh my gosh, what are my friends going to say? Oh my gosh, like some of my coworkers follow me. Oh my gosh, what are they going to say? And I've decided January 1st, I'm posting my covers on Instagram. And if people have an issue with it, they'll unfollow me. Yeah. But I'll gain the right followers who want to hear me sing. It's totally okay.
Out there. It is scary putting yourself out there. I think that is like really the scariest thing. Like just putting yourself out there in any area. Because I feel like somebody going to always have something to say.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm learning. Like even me, like I said, I just moved here to Atlanta 5 months ago. I have a body sculpting business. Ooh. And then I've always wanted to do a podcast, y'all. Like, I've been wanting to do this since, like, 2018, 2019.
You're really good at it, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And everybody's like, yeah, Crystal, go for it. But then it's like that, you know, what if it doesn't, you know, go right? But I realized, you know what? You won't know until you do it.
Yes.
Facts.
Like, if I fail, hey, at least I tried. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, putting yourself out there really is like the hardest thing, but God has like really opened up so many doors for me within the past 5 months, and I'm truly thankful. Like, y'all don't understand, like the calls, like it's like every week is like a new call. I'm like, oh, okay, and I know it's nobody but God.
You're
so
right.
I just tell anybody out there,
100%.
whoever you are, never be afraid to put yourself out there, especially if you feel like God is leading you to do something. Like me starting my podcast show, it's called the Untold Element. So this show is pretty much giving regular people, artists, business owners, athletes a space to be able to tell their story, because we all have a story. So you don't realize how many people you touch by just giving them a platform to be able to put themselves out there.
Yes,
you give them that courage. And I was afraid to start a podcast, but I'm happy that I, you know, was able to, you know, push through that, and I'm walking in my purpose by helping other people and giving them a space. So
yeah, and I will say, if I can say really quick, thank you so much for the opportunity. Like I said, this is my first time ever doing this and really being able to talk about my music, especially like just to the public. I usually talk about it to my friends, coworkers, family, but to be able to finally just say it and be outward and open about what I'm doing with music, because it's scary. I mean, I got my little piano in the corner of my tiny apartment in Harlem, and I'm trying to make hits. I'm trying to, you know, do what I love, and that's just making music. And I finally came to the conclusion that, like, if whenever I release Tears on My Keyboard on SoundCloud or whatever I release it on, whenever I get the video done, if it gets 5 views, I'm gonna be okay with that, because I'm just happy to make this music.
You gotta start.
Exactly. So look, I'm thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. You're really making a difference. You made a difference in me today.
Well,
so.
I'm thankful, because that's really what it's about for me. I don't do anything for like money, for clout.
Right.
It's really about, like, you know, leaving value in other people's lives. That's the part of my purpose. So.
Exactly. I love that. Yes.
So I was going to ask you guys, would you guys consider yourselves an introvert or an extrovert? We know your answer. We already know.
I've always been an extrovert.
Okay. Naturally, I'm an introvert.
Really?
I think I'm pushed to be an extrovert because I'm always performing, always in the club, always just out, radio, all type of stuff. So that kind of like, I embrace it though, because it allowed me to be a better artist, put myself out there, show my personality. But naturally, I'm an introvert. But when I'm like situations like this, it just.
So do you feel like the music kind of that gives you like that extra
Yeah, most definitely.
Most
definitely.
Okay, yeah.
But I think my personality gives, or I'm working on giving more of my personality to the world, because a lot of people like to see that from me.
Mm-hmm.
I get different opinions from people just seeing a picture of me on Instagram or something to be like, okay, but until they actually meet me, they're like, oh, he cool. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. You come up like, I mean, just looking at you, you might be one of those arrogant, cocky.
Yeah, I get that so much until people meet me. You know?
Yeah,
so
and then
really,
you like humble in person. You're humble. You're sweet. So yeah, I could see that. I think a lot of us are judged by the way we look.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I recently lost about 50 pounds. Fun fact.
Oh,
congrats.
When thank you. When I was bigger, I felt like people just really did not have the same amount of respect for me. Like, whenever I posted any picture on Instagram, like, I was always confident. I didn't care how big I was. I was just happy, right? And but I definitely felt like after I had lost weight, like guys like that I hadn't talked to in years were like coming back and it's like, yeah,
that's what I do.
Exactly. And it's like, and even with music, like when I was, bigger and I was rapping, like I know some dude, he was just real straight up with me. He was like, I don't feel like, as a bigger girl, like you're going to do well in like rap, especially. Maybe you could sing, be a gospel singer. And I was like, wow, like that's really what we're doing. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't lose weight so I could satisfy them. I lost weight because I wanted to be a healthier version of me and myself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, I guess a plus with it does come. People might be taking me a little bit more seriously about my music, but it sucks that it had to be that way, right? But yeah, it's definitely, it's unfortunate the way how physical appearance is like really, transferring into entertainment in a way.
I think that having a certain look is everything. And I'm so serious. Because you got people, like you got girls, like they might not be bad looking girls, but they'll go get their body done and their life just goes from here to here. Roof.
Yeah.
Because looks, we're in a vain society. Everything is about look. People are very shallow. And it's nothing you can really do about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, like I told my friend the other day, I was like, girl, I'm finna go get my teeth done. She's like, Crystal, you have beautiful teeth. Yeah. But it's because you know that it's out there and you can get it done.
Right.
And do a little enhancement. It does cross your mind.
Why not have whiter teeth, right? I mean,
because your look is really like, it's big.
Yes. Yeah, it really is.
It's a blessing and a curse though, because being a good looking person, because you don't know if somebody's trying to do business, if they're trying to, do some other stuff. So that's the only thing I feel like.
I DM'd a producer whose name I won't mention, maybe off air, but
a producer here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, girl,
I DM'd him some of my music, and he had like DM'd me back and was like, "Oh, what are you working on?" And I remember I sent him like all my stuff, and I never heard from him again. I remember going through my Instagram. I'm like, "Do I just not have the look?" Air quotes, the look. And then I realized I was just like, I tried to not take it as personal. I was like, he probably gets 1 million DMs a day. Who knows, right? So I mean, but it's something that went through my mind because I know I'm not one of the BBL bandits out here. I know I'm not.
Hold on, the BBL bandits. Hold on.
I saw that on Twitter today, and I was cracking up. But like, I know I'm not one of them, right? But listen, like, I know that I'm beautiful, and I'm still talented, right? And that's why I was saying, I would. Songwriting, if that's my way in and for someone to see my talent, to hear my talent and to know what I can bring to the table, like, all right, that's what it is, but, we have, to your point that you mentioned earlier, people already have millions of followers and they'll just go on ahead and drop, you start a rap career just because they have the following and it's a popularity contest. But look, God is making me work for it, and
it's okay. You're gonna appreciate it more because that's gonna build character. Like when you really out here hustling and grinding and networking and putting yourself out there and those long nights, it's gonna pay off.
Yeah,
because everybody wants instant gratification here.
Exactly.
So I'm inspired by real artists, like people that are really out here, like getting it, putting the work in. Like those are the people that I'm inspired by.
Me too.
But I think it's like an instant gratification thing here. So I don't know. I don't know if it's social media. I don't know what it is, but it's like nobody wants to work for stuff.
Right, and that's why
popularity gets you in the game, but your craft keeps you.
Exactly.
I agree with that. I agree.
I would say like that's one reason why I'm like a big Glorilla fan right now, because even before she blew up in April, she had a catalog of music. Like she was working hard. Her and her girls, they was freestyling. They was actually like genuinely into music. And so for her to finally take off, it made sense. And you can tell that she's genuinely happy to be doing what she's doing.
Yeah, and humble.
Exactly. She's not going to be a one-hit or a two-hit wonder, right? She's really still trying. And so that's why, I can respect her, for that,
Yeah. I think that's the beautiful thing when stuff happens organically with people. Like they just go viral organically, or they just blow up. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's like that's the most beautiful thing to me.
Yes,
when
exactly.
Stuff just happens like organically. It's not because of who you know. Like,
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Well, I'm rooting for her. Yeah.
So we got Glorilla,
Meg the Stallion.
She really turned on the low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I be outside.
She got her ratchet moments.
Yeah. Every day the sun won't shine, but that's why I love tomorrow.
So, what was a turning point in your life, like y'all life for y'all? You want to go ahead?
Turning point in my life. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. When I first dropped the song with the Migos, like my career started to really take off. It was playing it all over the radio, playing it on TV, stuff like that. But I was so young, I wasn't prepared for it. So I didn't know myself all the way. So I couldn't really take it, like capitalize off of that at the time. So things kind of slowed down after that a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But then I had to pick it back up. And that's just something that God put me through, you know what I'm saying? I had to learn, and I had to find myself, find what I want to talk about, what message I want to bring to the world, you know what I mean? And so I think that was a turning point for me.
Because your music, it sounds really, really good. Like
I've been
listening to I listened to the No Lies. I think that's I've
she just want to vibe and no lie.
Okay. Well, it sounds good. Your voice, amazing voice.
Thank you.
Like I could, you can tell people, he could sing. It ain't no auto tune behind that. Right. Like, you can sing.
Yes.
So I definitely can see you going places. How old are you?
Appreciate that. I'm 27 now.
Yes, you're still young. I could definitely see you going places like with your music. Continue to push.
Sure.
Keep putting yourself out there. Because I could definitely see you getting there, and like the sound that you have, I want them to bring that sound back.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's like you got that R&B in you still.
Yes.
Like you got that Usher R&B feel that we miss. Like, come on.
Yes, I love that. No, seriously, and like Danny was saying, like you're really, really talented, and it's I've seen a lot of people like really just being consistent. And I was watching a video of a BET Awards performance from I think August Alsina, Trey Songz, and Chris Brown that they did years ago, and like my heart got so warm just hearing good singing, good dancing. Like, oh my gosh, when I found out Chris Brown was gonna potentially perform on the AMAs and then they pulled it, I was so hurt because like I want to see that.
Why did they pull it?
I heard a plethora of reasons, girl. Like I heard that they didn't want him to promote a child abuser, or like, I'm not too sure, because it was a Michael Jackson tribute that I think Sierra was also going to be a part of.
Michael ain't did nothing.
I was like, come on, y'all. Now. Like, can we like, please, it's about the American Music Awards. Like, come on.
I never knew the story behind it, but he still won an award that night, right?
He did, yeah.
He won an award and couldn't even be there to receive it. I think that was so crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would love to just see that more, for sure. Could you repeat your question again?
I believe it was. What was my question?
Turning point, right?
Turning point.
I would probably. So I started taking music a lot more seriously in like September of 2020. I remember because it was a month after my granddad passed, and I was finishing up this rap, and I remember I said I'm turning 24 on the 24th of September, and Kobe died this year.
How old are you, a Virgo?
I'm a Libra.
Okay. Mm-hmm. My birthday's September 2nd. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, September. Okay. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to order me a Kobe jersey on eBay. It was like $15, which was so crazy. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make a music video with the song. The song's going to be called K Mamba. And it's going to be this whole thing. And like, that's when I enjoyed making that music video, having the creative direction behind it. I had a good videographer who
is that the one when we was outside sitting near the car?
Yes, on the gold Tesla.
I did see that video. Okay.
I was so excited about
that. Now
that.
we know the motivation behind the song. Okay, now we know the story. Okay.
Exactly. I had put a picture of me and my granddad at the end of the video to like dedicate it to him. And so, I would say that was probably one of the biggest turning points. when I lost the talent show in October of this year, that was another one because it redirected me back into singing and playing the piano and being more intentional with what I'm writing. And I've never felt better. Like, not that I probably won't ever rap again, because I probably would, but now all the rap songs that I've written, like I was saying earlier, I'd love to like email them to like Glorilla or the right people so that it can get into the right people's hands. And
I see what you're saying.
Exactly, because I know that those are good songs, right? And I just don't think that right now those are my songs.
Like a lot of artists start off as songwriters, though.
Exactly. So Lady Gaga started off as songwriter,
and then they come out as artists later on.
Yeah, Money Long did too.
And there's a lot of people we wouldn't know that. I think Carrie Hilson, she used to write music.
She did.
Neo wrote music. It was, I just found out Future wrote Drunken Love.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Crazy.
Yes.
I didn't know that either.
Yes.
Future wrote Drunken Love.
Literally.
I loved that song.
Yes.
But it wasn't his song. You know what I'm saying?
Drake wrote Heated by Beyonce on her new album.
I did not know that. So that's what I'm saying. Some people, you're just a talented person. We all have multiple talents. So that might just be another talent that you're just going to tap into. So just always be open-minded. Like, hey, this might not be my song, but hey, maybe I can send it to somebody else and get paid off this song.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe, if, I would love to, like I said, I've got maybe like 4 or 5 rap songs like that I know offhand that I've written the beats that I found on YouTube. And I know good sound engineers. We can remake the beats. And I can, put them in the right people's hands. And listen, I'm happy to say, I wrote that for Glorilla. All right. That right there.
Speak it into existence because, 2023 is going to be a big year. So we're going to speak it into existence.
Yes, ma'am. Listen, I'm praying for it, manifesting it. Listen, putting it out there. Yes.
So Malachi, I know you have worked with some artists, but if there was any artist that you could work with moving forward, who are some artists that you would work with, like moving forward in the future, if you had a chance to?
So like I told y'all, I've been tapping into a different lane, the Afrobeat / R&B, because I put my own little twist to it, but probably like Wizkid, Burna Boy.
I can see that. I could definitely see y'all doing music together.
Yeah,
I can see that. That would be a hit.
Yeah.
I can see that.
For sure.
So you heard that Wizkid, Burna Boy, Malachi. That sounds good.
Yeah, those are really good choices. Yeah, for sure.
So if you guys could leave our listeners with anything tonight, what would it be?
I would say, know that your path is really unique. I love my job, my 9 to 5, what I do every day, working at the NFL and partnerships. That's how I was, by God, able to be here, in Atlanta was because of work, and it just worked out. It was a perfect date for me to drive down and do this, right?
Everything happened organically.
And like I said, I love what I'm doing, and I know that everything that I've done previously, I used to work the front desk at the Marriott Marquis downtown. A lot of things on my path and my resume, some people be like, wow, you did that? And I'm like, yes. And that helped prepare me for X. That helped prepare me for Y. Yeah. And now it's going to help me get to Z. Right. Yes, and so your path is very unique, and be intentional and be proud of it. Right. Yeah. Because when I was working the front desk at the Marquis, I remember I would check in some of my friends for Spellhouse Homecoming. And I remember I was so embarrassed. Like, I'm having to check y'all into y'all's nice hotel rooms that I can't even afford to stay in. Right. And like, y'all are making all this money, and I'm making $11 an hour doing this. And I just graduated from school a year ago, like you did. And I knew they was talking about me, but I was like, you know what? It is what it is.
At least you got a damn job.
I got a job, right?
Some people ain't got no dang on jobs. So.
Right. But I was like, you know what? This is what God has for me right now, and it's gonna all make sense at some point. Yeah. So trust in the process, and it's your path, and be proud of it. Yeah.
I agree with that. And you?
That's what I was gonna say. Trust the process and trust yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's gotten me through a lot of things, because my life has been so out there. Everybody seen a lot of videos from me, music and stuff like that. So I'm in the forefront. But what comes with that is a lot of different opinions. You know what I'm saying? So as long as I just trust myself and you trust yourself, everybody else will just, follow your wave and have fun with it.
Yeah. So can we expect anything from you, like, coming up in the future? You working on some stuff?
Yeah, most definitely. We working on some videos now. Just dropped 2 new songs in the past, 2 weeks, I think. First one was called Temptation. The second one's called No Lies.
Yeah,
So I was in the club last night. They played it.
I seen that.
Yeah, it was
I like
crazy.
No Lie now. Y'all check it out. No Lie by Malachi. I love that song. Well, thank you guys for coming on today. Yes. Thank you guys for sharing your story with me.
Thank you.
I'm so excited about the things that you guys have planned on in the future, and hopefully we can have you guys back on for season 2.
Yes, definitely. And if I ever blow up and make it big, like
say
for sure,
when you blow up and make it big.
When I blow up and make it big, I will never forget about this moment sitting here with all of y'all, with both of y'all especially. So again, thanks again for the opportunity.
All right, no problem.
And congrats on your success.
Right,
yes, congrats.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in to the Untold Element podcast show here on My Fusion Radio. Be sure to check us out every Friday night at 8 p.m. Thank you and peace out.
Okay, that was lit.
That was so good.
I love this interview.
The producer, are we still live? No. The producer is Zayto.
Okay.
Oh, girl.
Yeah.
I know a lot of producers. My mind went 10 places.
Oh my God.
So it's on YouTube? Yeah. Let me send y'all the link.
I would love to, if you have like an agent or however way, I think we should definitely stay in touch.
Right there. But
okay.
Me and you can connect too.
Okay, yes.
I'm going to send y'all the link for the show.
All me ever get seen in my life.
This one's for Queens. This one's for Brooklyn. New York City.
Give me the tightest all me ever get seen in my life.
Ayo, Egyptian, tell them for guan, eviction. This one, yeah, it's had a bad gal edition. See them gal that contradiction. Them say them sitting tight, I bear fiction. The wall of them a be it. Body smoking, cigarette, shit nice. Figure it, get them the rollerblades, tell them to ski it. Stay out on them, Jamaican tip. All I do is sign boobs and be taking pics. Got the new bins, the color of bacon bits. Got a spot in every state, Dalmatian. Now this young money, old money, real good money. Ain't do a feature that wasn't on Billboard, honey. Kingston, Remo, Waterhouse, Jungle, Bobby, man, I've enough gal in a bungle.